I'm excited to be here and do this with you guys. I'm going to give just a little bit more time for people to jump on. I also want to say that I will have the chat box open. That is the best way to communicate with me throughout this process and to leave questions. So please use the chat for that because I'll have it up the whole time and I will continuously be kind of checking it and making sure that I don't need to answer any clarifying questions as we go. Or if you guys even have additional questions that you need answered, please feel free to leave that in the chat. See everyone, oh my gosh. Okay, great. So real quick as we get started, I do just kind of want to give you a rundown of what this training will be about today and what you can expect. Sorry, I'm just checking the box here. So we are going to be talking all about email marketing and really focusing in on our newsletter that we do produce. However, you can use this information for any type of email that you want to send out. So I will let you know that we will be working with one of our templates. Again, it's very important for me. Like, I'm not a salesy type of person. So when I do these kinds of trainings, while I am using our template, this isn't a sales training, okay? This isn't a sales call. I'm absolutely here to teach you guys what you want to know, what questions that you have throughout the process, and to really just give you the knowledge and the ability to make really pretty emails. So I think this is going to be fun. It is going to be probably a full hour because I'm going to go into a lot of detail and I am going to hit every single step. So that way, we're not missing anything when we go through the whole process. We are going to start with a brand new template. I am going to customize it for my local team. And then we are going to then take it over to Constant Contact and upload it and deal with everything there. Yes, hello. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Is everyone ready? Okay, Keisha, yes. This will be recorded. It's already recording now. We will, once we are done with this training, we will edit the video to be a little bit more concise, and then we will upload it to our YouTube channel. If you go to YouTube and just search Elevated Agent, I'm going to pop up right there for you. So it will be recorded and added there. Usually it takes us a day or two to kind of get all of that process done. Just so you guys know, that will. Okay, great. Thank you, Casey. Love it. All right, are you guys ready to get started? Because I am excited. I will be using Constant Contact in this training. And I can talk about that now. We'll probably talk about it a little bit more when we get to that point. Constant Contact is just the service that I use. I will say that we're knocking on the door to 15,000 people on our email list. And I think that at that level, we are probably going to have to start looking for another service that really focuses in on larger lists. However, if you have 10,000 and below on your email list, Constant Contact, MailChimp, Flowdesk, there's like a email Emma or something like that, ConvertKit, those are all going to be very similar to what we're using today and also very good options for you guys to use. It is important for you to note that this is not going to be something that you're going to send out through Gmail, Yahoo Mail, Microsoft Mail. This is not that kind of email. We are making marketing emails that are very graphic heavy and just not what you will want to send out through this email. It'll also be, this is an email that you're going to want to send to your entire database. So it is not something you're going to send through your personal email. A lot of times I get that question, and it is very important that you understand at that level of emailing, you will need an email marketing software or website that you use, like MailChimp, Constant Contact, Flowdesk, ConvertKit, KV Core. You know, a lot of times your broker will allow you access or even pay or, you know, give you a discount to an email service. They all pretty much kind of act the same. So just kind of keep that in mind if you're using a different software than I'm using today. The process is the same. It just might look a little different. We're still going to upload an image and then put it into your email. So no matter what software you're using, you're still going to be doing those steps. So I hope that answers your questions. We have had several more people jump in, so I'm going to add them and then just run through again. My name is Kelly. I'm the owner of Elevated Agent. Hello and welcome to this email newsletter training. Just so you know, I will be going away and you're going to be seeing my screen, but I will always have the chat box open. So that way, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them over there. I will be watching that throughout this training and trying to answer emails as we go, because sometimes you have a clarifying question and you want it right when we're working through it. So I totally understand that and I'm here for it. Also, if you guys have questions that might not necessarily pertain to what I'm doing, I'm happy to kind of look at those. But also if you have ideas for future trainings or something that you're just not, it's not clicking for you or something, feel free to leave that in the comment box as well, because I'm always open for new ideas and future training ideas as well. So feel free to drop those over in the box. How do we use through KV Core? I'm not doing specific for each platform. Like I said just a minute ago, the steps that I'm going to take inside of Constant Contact will be the same steps that you take in any platform. It might just look different. So you're going to want to look for the upload button and the insert button, but we will get to that once we are into that step. That's about halfway through this training. The first part of this training is really going to be inside of Canva and using that for the design, because I really want to take you from inception to completion today. Okay, so we are going to jump in. I am so excited for everyone to be here. Again, thank you. And here we go. Okay. All right, so here, let me move my tools around here so I can see roughly. We are now inside of my Canva, and I will let you know that it is a little bit chaotic because I have over 4,000 designs. I just found that out recently, so that's pretty cool. So right here, you're going to see our newsletters. For an email, the sizing is very important. You are going to want it to be at least, and we're not going to be talking inches today, we are talking pixels. So px equals pixels. So if you come up here to create a design, if you want to create one from scratch, if you go down here to custom size, it automatically generates this. If you drop that down, you can see inches, centimeters, meters, all that right there. But we're going to leave it on pixels. And we are going to do no less than an 800 width. Sometimes people do a 1200. I find that gets a little big, but we're going to do 800 here. For the smaller blocks, I like a 200 for the height, or for the larger ones, we're going to do a 400. That is going to create a blank page, but I'm going to start with one of our templates, like I said before, and we're going to just start from there. Now, I get this question a lot. Why do I make our email newsletter into different size blocks? And I think this is a great question. And the fact that you're even thinking about this is amazing. So I'm excited about this question. And that is because we want to have the ability to put extra links inside of our images. But here's the thing, is that they're not really a button. We're really just making the entire image clickable. We might put a button in there that looks like if they click on that button, it's going to like take them somewhere special. But honestly, if they click anywhere on that image, it's going to take them to the link. So having these different size blocks will absolutely allow you more control over the links that you're able, because each image at that point can be its own link. You can only have one link per image. So that is why I like having different boxes, different blocks, I like to call them. So now, why do I like having different size blocks? Another great question. This is really has to do more with the design. as a reader, if you can alternate sizing of a graphic, it is going to hold your reader's attention for longer. So while we have large blocks and small blocks, we are going to then put them together and make a very visually interesting email. If everything was exactly the same, it just wouldn't be very interesting, and people would click off a lot faster. Now, I like doing these different size blocks for newsletters because we are talking about different things throughout a newsletter. We have different articles. Sometimes we're talking towards buyers, sometimes we're talking towards sellers, or even just general homeowners. And so we want the ability to have that flexibility with our links. Now, if you have an email that is one purpose, great. You can then make a normal one size email. We'll go into that in another day. That's a whole nother story, actually. Okay, list the sizes for each. Melissa, that is a really great question. The wonderful thing about Canva is they already have all of those things that you've listed sized inside of their platform. So let's say you wanted a LinkedIn post. So if you went over here to Canva and went up here and just started to type link here, excuse me, we got to click templates. So right here, you can see LinkedIn. These are already perfectly sized for you. So you don't really even need to worry about sizing absolutely correct for the different platforms because Canva does that for you. Another reason why we love Canva. Okay, so what I think it would be great also to show you something else here. I should have had this pulled up, sorry. So what we do with our newsletters is we create a nice 8.5 by 11 newsletter. This was something that I did when I was actively selling, and it was a really well-received piece of marketing from my clients. And so I thought, well, if I'm already making this to print, how can I make this to email also? So what we do is we take all of this and we turn it into the blocks for you. So it's the exact same content into this. So our goal is to basically put this together in an email and make it look like this printed one does, right? So we're going to start over here with our header image, and this is going to be the very top image that your reader is going to see. It's telling them what it is, what you're going to talk about, and any important information will be right up here. Sometimes people might want to put their image up here also. So that is fine, where I'm going to show you right now a way that you could do that. So I'm going to just make maybe this a little bit smaller. Slide all of this over. And then we're maybe going to take this out here just to make a little bit more room. Okay. Kind of get it how you want it. And then I am doing this for my real estate team, like I told you. So now I have a folder over in my Canva that I need to pull in pictures out of. So here's how you do that. They have changed this recently, so I want to make sure everyone knows how to access that. So if you go here to projects, and I know that I have a folder that I'm looking for. So I can come up here and I can search for Stone and Story. And if I just go here to folders, and if I click this, it opens up right here. Cool, right? But let me show you. The best thing to do is really not even mess with that. The best thing to do is then to take this and scroll all the way down, because now your folder's open down here, and now you're working truly in the folder. So I have a photo of the broker that I need to upload. So I'm just going to pull that photo in and drag it into my folder. So now it is in the correct folder, and it's not just loosey-goosey in the middle of all my stuff. And I do know that there is some others. I might want more of a body shot here. Maybe something more. So I'm going to pick this one over here because I don't like how his shoulder is cut off here. It might look, well, actually it might be okay since I'm going to put it on this side. So I'm going to put this one here and I want his picture to go here, but this looks terrible, right? We don't want it to look like that. So we're going to go up to edit image. And this is, I'm going to show you on the new way because everyone is going to be seeing it this way pretty soon. So we might as well be training you on the new way. So now we're going to come over here to the background remover. Brandon, how I selected so like if you just take your mouse and you click and hold it, you can drag your mouse and it'll select all three of them. You can also hold down your shift key and it'll select all three of them. The cool thing about doing this is if you go up to position and you want to tidy it up, you can click that. It's not going to let me right now, but and then it will make them all nice and straight. That's how I did that. So now that his background is taken off, I'm going to just clean this up a little bit, crop it in. But I don't like how small it is, so we're just going to make it a little bit bigger. And okay, so here's another cool thing is I just made this 14. I'm not really changing it a whole lot. I am going to bring in my spacing. Let's see what 50 looks like. I'm just trying to make myself a little bit more space. So I'm going to click on this word box here. I'm going to go to more and I'm going to copy my style. So what this is, it's going to copy the style of how this is. It's not going to copy the words, but it's going to copy the style of it's going to copy the style of the type of font, the color that the font is, and the spacing information. So again, we're going to go here. And so then, So now that I have, you can see my roller paintbrush. So you can click on these individually like that, or we're going to copy our style again. And just like I selected all three, if I click and hold my mouse down and drag my mouse over the top of those two, it'll do them together. So it's a little bit easier of a way. But I was just maybe wanting these a little bit closer. Like that. I would maybe even make them not stacked as much. I'm gonna not get in the weeds too much. My perfectionism comes out a little bit when it comes to this. All right, so the other thing that I want, great, I'm glad I'm helping. The other thing that I want to show you is that this image, I actually have 2 layers on top of it. So keep in mind when you're working with something, you probably would have never thought about using this image. For one, look at the text on top of it. You can't even read it. There is a lot going on this image. So this is probably one you wouldn't pick. However, I love the summer feeling of it. I like that it's outside. It still has a house in it. So I really like this image. So what we're going to do is first, we're going to just put a box over this. Okay, this is a box. This is a rectangle. If you hit R on your keyboard, it'll pop up a rectangle for you. And now when you put it on there, it's going to look like this. We don't want it to look like that. We're going to lower the transparency to where it is just bright enough to be able to see the text, but also light it or see through enough that you can still see what the image looks like. So the next thing that we have on here is this box. You can't hardly see it, but what it is it's a gradient. Let me turn it all the way up for you. This gradient will make it wider on one side than the other. So it fades in color, if I can grab it, fades in color. See how the top of it's very transparent and the bottom gets wider? Yes, that is what we want because we want this to be a little bit lighter at the bottom so that way we can see our text just a little bit more. And the cool thing is like these are, you can slide them around, you can make them bigger. See, me just sliding it is changing the transparency itself because it does fade up. So I just want it to where I feel like it is not too much, but just right. So, okay, so if this ever happens, this is a perfect example. I'm so happy this happened. So when I clicked off, it then made the background white. Why does Canva do this? I have no idea. I really don't, but I have the best fix for it. And all you have to do is hit your Control and then Z to undo. Excuse me, I'm gonna do it like that. And then it'll pop back in. So that is your fix. I don't know why it does that. Moving on. Okay, so now we're gonna go back. So now we have our cover, right? So now we wanna come down. This is our next article. So let's work on this next. This is a lot of text for an email, right? So we need to break this up into sizes that are more legible for your reader. So we're going to make it into three different boxes. But the reason we're doing that is so that way we can get this text larger, so that way they can read it better on their screen. And so I would say don't go any smaller if possible than 12 on that font size, because anything under that is going to be harder for them to read when they receive it in your email. So the great thing is it is very little editing when you use our templates, because we already have all of these images in there for you. So really the only editing I've done so far is adding Darren's picture to the top here. I'm going to turn that temperature down just a little bit. It's a little red for me. Okay, so read through that. Everything looks good there. If you need to change out any of those pictures, you would do that now. Same thing here. So we like the article. We've changed everything we wanted. If there was anything, so we have that article done. So now we're going to go back and just kind of look here. We're going to make this into an article now. So into our small block, we want to have it a little bit more visually appealing. We're going to try to keep people engaged by having different sizes. So we've turned this part into the beginning of the article. And then we do have some larger, so that way we can get that font and the text size a little bit bigger. So like this one, I just feel like that's probably a little small. We're going to just knock that one up a little bit. And the great thing about the email is that you really can go all the way to the edge. And it's fine. Nothing will get cut off. You don't have to worry about that like you do in print. Okay. So I like all of that. And then, of course, if you wanted to update any of this, we do get our information straight from NAR. So if anyone ever asks you, that's where it's at. The cool thing here, okay, let's see. Sorry, I need to check what gradient are you using, the keyword. So if I come up to elements, that's a great question. I should have shared that. You can just type in, it's one of my first ones. You can just type in gradient and click that, then go over to graphics, and it'll show you all the gradients. Now I used a white one, so I searched for white gradient, but sometimes I want black. So, you know, if you want a certain color, it's great to search for that color because a lot more will pop up. The other thing that I use a lot is shadow. And so here are all the different shadows that you could use behind images. So for example, if you wanted to put a shadow on this image, you could come here and go to shadows and then like a glow if you wanted. So there's one option. I don't love it on that one, so I probably wouldn't use that. I would probably come and do a square shadow from here, like this one. It's actually not quite dark enough. So let's see, how would we put that up? So here, and so I usually like to put my shadows only on one side, more like a drop shadow. So we're gonna do it like that. Spin it around. And there's another way that you can do a shadow. Take that to the back. And see, now you have a decent shadow. That might be a little big still. And if you get it where you like it, but you feel like it's still a little dark, like I feel like that one is, just drop that transparency. Works out beautifully. And now, so this way I don't mess this up, I'm going to group them together. Yeah, just like that. All right, and so now the only really other thing I need to do is change this. And then I'm going to take that out. Permission, I'm going to take her out. And then I'm just going to come up here, copy this one, paste it down here. But you know what? I don't like it on that side. So I want it on the other side. So I want to flip it because remember his shoulder is on the edge there. And so I want it to be on that side. But then I also want it to the back. And so something I like to do with these photos is give a little bit of a shadow also. So if you did a nice little drop shadow, I like it on the other angle, I think. So that way we can see it a little better. Like that, I like that. And just play with it. I like it to be decently blurry. Let's look at the size. That's a little much for me. And then we're going to turn down the intensity. But so what this does is it just gives him a little bit of life. You know, he's real flat otherwise if we don't give him a little bit of a shadow. So we do want to make sure he has some life to him here. Okay, sorry, I was reading the box. I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anything. Yes, okay, so now let's add our, since this is going to be the very bottom piece, we do want to make sure we put our logo in there. So we're going to come over here and grab their logo. Of course, I don't have the long skinny one. Oh, there it is. Okay. It's weird though. Sorry, for some reason that is looking blurry to me. Well, oops, sorry. Yeah, there we go. Okay. We're going to add in their logo here at the top. Really wish the black looked better. We'll try it. Maybe a little bit smaller. They are their own brokerage, so they don't have to add another logo. And this is just, like I said, you just gotta have to kind of play with it a little bit. Have a little bit of fun here. Okay, any questions while we're still doing the editing? Any questions? So it feels, I know it feels a little jumbled up inside of Canva because you're like, you don't see how they're going to come together. This is what you would get all of this information off of your own MLS. If you don't have these kinds of listings because you're a newer agent or just a little bit slower, you can absolutely ask other people in your agency if you can borrow one of their listings. I would absolutely make sure though that you give credit where credit is due. So make sure you say who the listing agent is. Okay, great. Thank you, Stephanie. Do you offer VA? Right now, Melissa, we do not offer, well, okay, actually, I will talk about that at the end because I don't want anyone to feel like this is a sales email. We are going to start offering done for you email management and farming. So if you are interested in that, please let me know, but this is not a sales training, so I don't want to get too far into that. So I feel like we look pretty good in our Canva. Is there anything inside of Canva that anyone has questions about before we move on to now downloading it and taking it over to your email software? If you have Canva questions, now is the time. I'm going to just wait for anyone else that might have some Canva questions. Going once, going twice. All right, well, since nobody asked, I'm going to give you, I like questions, y'all, so give me some questions because that is how everyone learns, because I don't know what you don't know. One thing that I do want to show you is once you're in Canva and you start designing a lot, you're going to be like, my Canva is such a mess. So I'm going to show you real quick some of the ways that you can help do that and not have your Canva a mess. Is if you're going to be emailing constantly and you have a lot of marketing per month. So like if you're doing farming, June email newsletter, June printed newsletter, June door knocking, anything like that, what I would do is I would come here to share and I would go to save to folder. And then this is where you can really start creating folders to organize inside of your Canva. So I already have a Stone and Story folder, which is great. So I'm going to click on that. But I don't want to just move it into this one big folder and just lump everything together. We're going to be a little bit more organized than that. So now I'm going to come here to create new. And I'm going to say June 2023 email marketing. And you can really name this anything you want, but we will probably break this email down into a couple of different emails. I'm going to show you that. And so I want to make sure that we are keeping track of all of it. So we're going to add this. Okay. My design was added to the folder, but we're also going to do it with this one. So we're going to go to save folder. I'm going to show you this one. You can click here and you can save it straight there. But if you were to click here, you will now see the folder in here. So then you can click there and click save. Okay, so now they're both in our folders. So we want to, let's see, Melissa has a question. When I get your links to download to Canva, I need some clarifying information, Melissa. But for whatever reason, I still see them at the top of the page. I don't know what that means. If you can be a little bit more clarifying, I'll definitely try to help you out there. So one thing about email marketing is it is very important that you have high quality images. The quality of your image is going to change the look of your email marketing. So please remember that. So whenever you download your email images, we are going to make sure we do PNG, and we are going to take this little size baby and we're going to go all the way up. Okay, we're going to all the way up. It is going to be a larger file, so just be prepared for that, but that's okay. We're going to hit download on that one. We're going to do the same thing to the larger blocks. Come up here to share, then to download. We're going to swing that baby all the way up. We're still on PNG, which is great. We want all of our pages, so we're going to download that. Yes, actually, I don't add my links until I get into my email provider. So we'll do links very soon. Links is one of the last things that I do in my email. All right, so now we have both of our images downloaded. We're all good. So we're going to jump over to Constant Contact. I've already logged in. I'm in my campaign view. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go to create. We're going to create an email. And I'm just going to say from scratch because I really don't. I have all of my images. I don't really need any help. So you literally get a blank canvas when you do that. The one thing I really don't like is this dark background. And the reason why I don't like that is because that just is signifying to the receiver that this is a marketing email, right? We want it to feel like a really personalized native email that is just for them. And when you have this dark background, it just screams marketing. So we're going to get rid of that. We're going to make it white, and we're going to make it white because that's the background color of just a normal email. Excuse me. Oh, yes. Okay, Melissa, I think I understand what you're saying. It's because when you go into Canva, just naturally, like if you go to your homepage, always hit that refresh button. If for some reason you're not seeing something in Canva, I almost guarantee if you hit that refresh button, it will pop up. But when you just log into your main home screen, all of these are just your recent designs. So you're not going to see your folders or anything here. How to find your folders is if you come over here to projects, and then if you click folders here, this is where they're all going to show up. I have them in alphabetical order right now. So for example, if you go into Elevated Social, you will see that we have a folder for every month. And then when you scroll down, it does show extra designs, but also it'll show you images and everything. So like my farming kits, here's July. And if you go show more, it will show all of your designs. And then if you scroll down, here are all the images used for that in this folder. So it's very useful to use folders to keep yourself organized. I highly recommend it. Okay, moving forward, we're back to constant contact now. Okay, so we're literally in an empty email. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna take these images and we're gonna start sliding images in. Go all the way up to the very top. You saw how that pink line was at the very top. I don't get a pink line above that. That pink line is where you're going to be dropping the images. Okay. So I'm just going to drop several. See how these two are connected and that one's not? And that is because when I did that, see how that pink line stops at the top of that block? If I move it down just a little bit, it creates a longer line. That is basically saying this is a new section. So like that. So if you want your images to butt up against each other with very little margins, that's how you're going to want to do it. If you want there to be a little bit more padding in between them, you're going to put it in as a new section. And we can move and edit these however we want as we go. I'm just throwing some in to get them there. So you click on this box now and you're going to hit replace. And we want to upload all of our new images. So we're going to go here. We're going to go here to upload. And we're just going to find the images we just downloaded out of Canva and drag them in. I don't know if you can see that folder that I'm showing you, but I'm just opening my downloads and I'm going to drag them all in. So there are my small blocks and here are my big blocks. I feel like a mechanic when I talk like that. So now we've got all of them in there. We're just going to upload all of them. And this is the fun part. This is where you get to be really creative. You can make one huge email. You can break this down into an email per article if you wanted. And so I'm just going to show you what it would look like if you made one nice big email. I would probably use this for at least 2 different emails. But you can do whatever you want. Okay, so now we have everything uploaded. I just kind of want to go back and show you. We're going to click on this and replace it. You could have done this without Xing out, but I did just want to show you that. So we want our very top image. There it is. I'm going to scroll down here and just hit insert. Another word for that might be place. Sometimes your email will say place. So now we're ready to put in another photo. So what do we want to go right underneath that first slide? Well, I would say let's go ahead and do our listing spotlight just to kind of get that, you know, our #1 listing, what we really want people to pay attention to. So we're going to go ahead and put that image in. Okay, so I'm thinking of this as we want to kind of do not salesy, salesy, not salesy, salesy. Okay, so now we're going to go here and we're going to replace this with an article that's not salesy. We're really wanting to help and give information and content. This is how we're setting ourselves up as the local expert because you're giving great information. So for this one, we're going to go ahead and do the 6 things that you should pay attention to. You should prioritize, excuse me. Show you here. All right, so now we have that whole article done. So it's looking very good. So now let's be a little bit salesy again. We're going to replace this. And we're going to then put in there it is, solds and active listings. Okay, and so we're out of boxes though, so we need more boxes. This one we can just delete that one. We don't want that. So we're going to go in, add more images. You could also duplicate if you wanted to do that. So replace. Now we're going to go back to good information that is just general helping information. So let's do our remodel in case anybody is interested in remodeling. Okay, then we're going to go here. We're just going to keep adding these images until we have a nice full email. If you wanted to do the planter before the buyer article, great. I think it's really important to also, I always try to include something that's not necessarily real estate buying and selling related, because there are going to be people on your list that aren't ready to do anything right now. Maybe they just bought 6 months ago, but they're still on your list, right? We want them to stay on your list. That the way you get them to stay on your list is by giving relevant and helpful information that is also outside of buying and selling. However, you will notice all of these extra articles still revolve around the home in some way. So we are making a huge, beautiful planter out of a filing cabinet. Like, what? That's crazy, right? But you're still doing, excuse me, grab the wrong one. You're still doing it for your home. You know, so we are not necessarily always talking about buying and selling, but pretty much always talking about the home. So now we're going to end this great email with our footer, which always has a call to action. We always want to make sure that our footer has a great call to action. So now you're thinking, Kelly, I cannot read those, right? Like those are tiny. Do not send your email out like this. Do not send it out like this. Okay, this is what I see. I get emails and that says, no one can read it. It's so small. This is why. Now we're going to click on every single image and we're going to take this little toggle and we are going to pull it to the largest size it can be. Okay, look how much better that is. You can actually read it now. And look how good the photos look. If you feel like a photo is pixelated or the words look blurry, that is probably because you need a higher quality image. Maybe you didn't download it as high of quality out of Canva as you could have. Or maybe the item is just not great. So if you remember, I was kind of having issues with this logo. I felt like it wasn't very clear, and that is correct. Do you see how crisp these words are here, but this is not crisp? That is telling me there's something wrong with this image. I probably uploaded a low quality logo, and that is why it's looking a little blurry. So I do need to go in, find a very nice high quality logo of this and replace it. For this example, I'm not going to do that, but I would do that before sending this out because I just feel like that does not look like high enough quality for my standards. So I would then redo that. The great thing is let's say if you just have to redo this one thing, okay, like that's all you have to do. You would just come over here to Canva, you would change out that logo, boom, you would come here to share, download. We're going to do the exact same thing, but you're only going to download that one image, just that one page, right? And so then you would download that, and then you could just come over here, replace, and then upload that new image and replace it there. So you're not having to restart this entire process if you just need to update one. But you can see here, like the smaller block really is a different feeling than some of these bigger blocks. And that's why we do it. That drop shadow, man, that looks great. It makes that photo pop off the page. there is a difference in these two articles. So what I'm going to do here to allow the reader to know that there is a change in article is I am going to add a spacer, a divider. And what that's going to do is just going to give me a nice black line that will then tell them, hey, this is a different article. You can make it a little bit larger or smaller based on your own preference. Okay. And then if you also wanted to, you could do a spacer. That is just adding extra space. So like that. Any questions as we're going? I'm kind of moving fast, so I want to make sure that I'm not missing any questions. Okay, I'm about to talk about links, so we will be moving on to that pretty quickly. Any questions? Okay, so now as you see, each one of these blocks is a separate image and it all comes together very nicely, but we're going to want to make links, right? So what we're going to do is I'm going to head over to the website. And for example, we are going to go here to Market Report because this is how you get your CMA off of their website. So then we're going to come down here to the bottom because that is exactly what we want people to do, right? So we're going to click here and we're going to go up to this little chain. So then we're going to say, we're going to a web page and we're going to say that. And so now whenever anyone clicks on this, it is going to take them straight to this page. They can click anywhere on this photo, not just on the website, which I like. So another thing that you can do is, we're going to come back to the segmentation. That's a little bit more advanced, so I don't want to confuse anybody. So let's say this article was with how to create the planter was on your website. If you had like a blog or something here, then I would definitely link that to the website. A great way for people to increase their social media is to have this on your social media. So what I would do is maybe even create this into a carousel post for Instagram. And here is how I would do that. I'm not going to show you how to resize it into a carousel post. We're going to act like this is it. Okay, pretend like this is that same article. So we're going to come here. We're going to share to, copy link. My link is now copied. So again, we're going to pretend like this is a carousel post that I just showed you on Instagram. We're going to go here. We're going to go to web page, and then we're just going to click, or we're going to paste this into Constant Contact for Instagram, and then hit insert. So now anytime they click on this image, it's going to take them straight to this post in our Instagram. The great thing about doing that is it will increase your social media following. And if people can really go from one of your platforms to another platform to another platform, like that is just them getting more and more into your sticky web. Advanced tip also, if they are clicking on, advanced tip, and we can go into this in more detail in another training. Drop a comment if this is something you would like. But we all know that real estate is super tough when it comes to Facebook ads, right? We have so many limitations about who you can market to, who you can't. So the one thing that you can run ads to is people that have interacted with your social media, either Facebook or Instagram. So if you're getting people to click on this and go back to your Instagram, they are being categorized as someone that has interacted with your post. So then that person then becomes someone that you can target on Facebook ads. So we are making this a complete circle, okay? We want everything to talk to everything. So that is something to really think about when you're sending these emails out. how else can you get the most out of this email? Well, one way is to create more Instagram followers by linking to it. Okay. Same with all of these. So this is going to be just one link. That is kind of the bad thing about doing it like this. However, if someone is clicking on this, I would take them to your active listings or anywhere that they can find this, but that is a really good thing to know. We're going to come back to that in a second. I'm going to leave you a cliffhanger. So again, this one would go to your web page right there. Any other questions about linking before I move on to the pro tip with linking? Any questions about that? I think that this is probably a lot easier than people were trying to make it. And sometimes easy can be just as complicated. So I'm going to give you a pro tip before we move on to how to send this email. Now, if you do this and you click here and you go to web page, we're going to link this to the listings, right? Okay. So here I got my page that all the listings are on. Now we need to link this wonderful thing here. Web page. We're going to just paste our link in again. So what we're going to do this time though is we're going to click this little button here that says enable click segmentation. Most websites have this. If you're using MailChimp, Constant Contact, Flowdesk, ConvertKit, I know for a fact they all have those capabilities. The ones that are built in per broker, I do not know if they have these capabilities because I am not familiar with that software, so I cannot speak to those. But if you're using one of these, this is the most amazing, untapped thing that you can do inside of your email that I almost guarantee you're not doing. You probably don't even know about it. So I am going to create an entire list of contacts of people that click on this. And we're going to create a new list so I can show you exactly how to do it. So anyone that clicks on this image is going to go and look at my listings. I am going to go ahead and just say that is probably a warm lead or at least a hand raised. Anyone that is clicking on that is either interested in what their home is worth, interested in buying, or there is just something in the back of their head, right? They're not just clicking because they have nothing else to do unless, anyways, whatever. So what we're going to do is we're going to put active listing interest here, okay? And then we're going to create this new list. My team's going to get mad at me for messing it up. So what this does is we're going to hit insert. That's all you have to do. What this does now is anyone that clicks this and goes to this link is now going to be added to their own list inside of your email. Why you want that is because you know what? If you had a new listing that popped up that you think is fire and is going to go so fast and you really want to push it, email it to that list because those people are so interested in your listings. They're already clicking. They're already clicking. So that is a nice warm list. You can add people to that list on any email. So let's say next month you send out this same email and you have another link that shows new listings or just sold or something. You can then also add those people to that same list. And you can then start snowballing a list of people that are actually clicking and interested. So another way you could do that is this article here. You could definitely link these to your website or to an Instagram post. But even linking to an Instagram post like we did down there, let's do it again up here, I guess. We'll copy and come back over here. So we want to link this to our Instagram post, right? Web page, we're going to put our Instagram post right in here. Click this, and then you can add it to, I mean, look how many lists we have, right? And then you could say, you could add it to a new list that says buyer interest. And the reason why we would say buyer interest is because literally this is an article about buying a house. So anyone that's clicking on this definitely has an interest in buying. Same thing with this one. If people clicked on this and wanted to go see it on your Instagram, this would be a home remodel list. And so then you are getting very specific about the people on your list. And it is a freaking gold mine, guys. Like, amazing. And this, I would absolutely add this one to a CMA list. That is hot leads right there. So now that I told you that, I get excited about that because I just think there's so much gold to be found in there. It does take takes a little bit of nurturing. It takes a couple of months of emailing, but once you really get into that habit, making these beautiful emails, your lists will start snowballing very quickly. So now we are done with the look of our email. We have everything how we want it. We have all the articles set how I wanted it. There is nothing wrong with using this and this a couple times in a month. Like I would use this every month. A lot of times people think that they have to update. Oh shoot, I'm running a little long on time. A lot of people think that they have to update absolutely everything. And I would actually probably say don't do that. If you want to update something, maybe update the background photo, but keep everything else very consistent on this top piece and, oh wait. Roll it and that bottom one. And the reason is that people, especially when you're trying to sell them, they like consistency. And especially with real estate, that's a really big purchase, right? So we want to make people feel very comfortable with us. We want them to feel like they can very much trust us. So when you show repetitive images that are professional looking like this and like this, people are gonna be like, oh, that's Darren. Like he's just sending us his monthly email. Like we get it every month. I know him. It is important for it to be familiar. That's why your brand is so important, because then there is consistency across all of your marketing pieces. That is really what builds your trust. The images. Yes, so the images that I use, you can find them over on Unsplash, or you can find them inside of Canva Pro. If you don't have Canva Pro, you're missing out. I love it. So I just kind of wanted to tell you that about the brand and making sure your images are consistent. So now we're going to come up here and we're going to mess with the subject. So subjects are very interesting. It is kind of the key to getting people to open your email. So I would probably lead with I would not lead with your monthly newsletter. Don't do that. Nobody ever wants to open that. You need to think about how they lead on the news. I'm not saying like, what if it bleeds, it leads. But like they talk about their best news first, right? Their best article first. So let's think about what we can lure them in with. So I'm not going to say pre-listing prep to sell your house this year, because that feels salesy. You know, it is kind of salesy. You know what? That's the wrong cover for this, I think. That's okay. And I would probably say something about remodeling projects. The biggest, okay, hold on. Let me think. Thinking out loud here. You click this, it should. When I'm on Zoom, I'm telling you my emails or my internet works so slowly, so I apologize. Here we go. Best renovations for your book. And then, you know what? I would always add some sort of emoji. And the one thing, if you don't like these emojis, totally fine. You can actually copy and paste them from your phone also. So I would probably put a money emoji somewhere or a hammer or something. And then don't ever underestimate your pre-header message here. Here, I would actually probably say number 3 will blow your mind. I mean, that's maybe a little dramatic, but there you go. And then you can also change your name. So I would maybe say like, have a little fun with this. Your fave realtor, and then your name, something like that. You have to have those. So, okay, so here we go. We have all of that. Looks great. Okay, so now we're going to go to continue. And then this is where you can select your list to email. You can also select your segments, remember. These are all of the ones we've made. We've come down here, we've already done our subject line. Great, great, all of this looks good. So now we're gonna come over here. We don't really need a preview because we've already been working on it. We are going to always say resend to non-openers. And what this is if a person on your email list does not open your email, it will then resend it to them whenever you tell it to. So I always say, I like to send my emails Friday morning at 10 a.m. That has just historically been the best time and day of people opening emails. So I would send it originally on a Friday at 10 a.m. And then I would actually have it go back that next Tuesday to be resent to non-openers. That gives them several days to go through their emails and open it. And then if it somehow just totally missed them, you're not emailing it on the weekend when people aren't looking at their emails. And you're also not emailing it when they're inundated with emails on Monday morning. We're going to go ahead and wait for that Tuesday morning. And then I always like to change the time. So instead at 10 a.m., I would then maybe do 9 a.m. I will definitely say late night emails and afternoon emails, evening, like anything other than the morning, I have just shown for it to not get opened as well. Okay, and so then you just come up here and hit send now. And it'll probably, yeah, it makes me, I'm not going to do it because it's nothing, but then you would pick your list, you'd hit send now, and then it would then send off to your email list. So that is it in 1 hour. I'm 2 minutes over. I just showed you from beginning to finish how to do email marketing and make it look beautiful at the same time. I need to know what questions that you have. Where are you getting tripped up? When you're thinking about doing this, what makes you stop? Are you doing it and not getting any results? Let's talk about where your hurdle is in your process, because that is absolutely very important to me that we get over those hurdles, because there's a gold mine in your email list. There really is. Content. Brandon, we got you on that. Our email newsletter is $5. National content versus local market content. Yes, I agree with that. Come up with a couple of different templates to where you can kind of use the same content over and over. We do try to mix in a good amount of local content versus national content. So like a lot of times our emails will have a local market update. The one that we have in July are the best hiking trails. Yes, you will have to go in and update that with your hiking trails, but I mean, that's really the easy part. Awesome. Yes. So, and it really doesn't have to be that hard for the market update. Don't make it more than you need to, you know, like the number of sales made, the number of days on market, average, that kind of site. I will drop 2 websites that I use for free images. So this one, Pexels is what it's called. This is one that actually already feeds into Canva. Oh, whoops, sorry. Everyone. This is, they actually already feed into Canva. However, you don't have access to these images unless you're a premium Canva user. So if you want nice photos and you're not a premium Canva user, you can go to these websites. I will, that one, actually the Pexels has amazing, amazing videos. Like, yes, if you're looking for stock video, go there. And then this is probably my favorite one is Unsplash. Okay, Hewlett, what about starting with MailChimp for the first time? What to avoid the emails being sent? Spam folder or promotions, any tips? Okay, so there are some things about this, and the more images you have in your email, the more likely it is going to get caught up by spam. the more that people interact with your email, the less it's likely to get caught up by spam. So we're going back to having just really good content in your email. If they're clicking on it, then the internet gods know that. So they're understanding that, hey, if they're clicking on this email, it's actually really good content. So then next time you email them, it's less likely to be caught by spam or anything like that. You could always put a blurb in there that says like, add us to your address book so we don't like fall into your spam account. However, that is a little bit part of the game. And it is just something that you're going to have to kind of consider and think about. If you wanted to do more of a text heavy email, then you could do that. And it's probably a little less likely to get caught by spam, but it's also not perfect. So I guess that's kind of the answer, maybe not the answer you were hoping for, but that is it. So amount of emails to be sent. This is such a good question. I think it depends on your content. I would definitely be sending one a week. The email newsletter, I mean, I think that you could definitely get by with doing something like that once a week. But if you're emailing every time you get a new listing or something like that, you are going to be getting so many unsubscribes, because we really want our email list to not necessarily be direct salesy. Okay, we're a little bit more passive with our sales in email, and it is because people already have such a major block built up with email marketing that if they feel like you're selling them, they are going to unsubscribe so fast. So just kind of be conscious of that. And again, that is why I was saying, like, we really want to alternate like just really good, great content and being salesy. And I think that that's important to think about when you're also sending things out. So if you're sending out a just listed email, I would maybe do that, maybe twice a month, and maybe you make it a big list of, these are our latest listings, unless the people that you're emailing to want that email. And that goes back to having our separate lists. And we can dig into that into a more advanced email training in the future. Oh gosh, I had thought about something and now it's lost. Any other questions? You will. If you guys start jumping into email marketing, you are going to get unsubscribes, and it's okay. I work with so many people that hate seeing their unsubscribes. I'm just gonna tell you right now, just don't even look at that email. A lot of times your email software will like send you an email saying like, here's all the people that have subscribed and here are all the ones that unsubscribe. I have had clients in the past send me that email and be like, why? And there's no reason, okay? Sometimes those people moved away. If you're not constantly emailing them, you're going to have a certain amount of people that have even just forgot that they are on your email list. Maybe they're working with another agent now or whatever. I encourage you to look at it as, hey, if you're not wanting to be on my list, let's go ahead and get you off my list, because I mean, my stats are better if you're actually interacting with me. If you have a huge list, and this is actually something I probably need to do to my own, but if you have a huge list and you're sending out emails and you see the dropping off of engagement, it's because you have people that aren't even interested on your email list anymore. So then I would say it's maybe time for a cleanup of the subscribers. And sometimes it says I unsubscribed when I have not. Well, yes. So that is something that is interesting. So if you have multiple lists, you can have the option to subscribe or to unsubscribe to a list, or you can say unsubscribe to all. And if you've ever seen that when you're trying to unsubscribe to a website, it's because they have multiple lists and you're probably on multiple lists, just like I was trying to teach you to do. And so when you unsubscribe from all, you're taking yourself off of all of their emails. So I'm wondering if maybe that's not what had happened or something but I'm not quite sure what the answer is to that. I apologize. Any other questions? I think that You guys did great. Can you touch on the VA? Oh, sure, of course. Melissa, thank you for saying that. So we came out in April with our farming kits, and they were very well received, and we love doing them. When I started Elevated Agent, the number one mission for me was I wanted to create beautiful marketing pieces that truly moves the needle forward in agents' businesses. And sometimes I have to make something and then realize there's still more hurdles that people aren't jumping over, and it's hurting them. And so I want to start offering this service because I do feel like there are definitely agents that are out there that want to do the farming, that want to do email marketing, and they are just way too busy for that. So I will say it is not something that is not going to be a $5 membership. I think it'll probably be a starting base of about $750 per month. And that's going to be pretty minimal sending. Everything is going to be custom, but I don't think we'll probably be able to complete the service for less than $750 a month. And I just want to be very clear about that, because I know right now in this day and age, money really is a big part of our lives. And as the markets shift and everything, I understand that. So that being said, I just want to be very clear on that. Let me grab my information here. So I came to the realization, I'm kind of all over the place. I know, I'm sorry. So I came to the realization that agents need help with their mail for their farm and their email for their farm or database. And those are the two places that I see people not crossing the finish line. Y'all are buying the templates from me. You're investing in this stuff, but it's never getting to the finish line. You're never actually sending it out. You might do something with it in Canva, but are you downloading and uploading it and having it mailed out? A lot of you aren't. And I get it. You're busy. So I want to do a service to where we are helping you with your print marketing and your email marketing. And I think at this point, I have decided to only do them together, as I was sitting down and saying, okay, if I want to help people with their email marketing and doing it for them, I just think that it works very well paired with your farming. And so right now, that is what it's going to be. It's going to be a service that I will then customize our pieces for you and mail them out for you and email them out for you. We'll even manage your email database with your lists to where we're then cultivating those special lists and being able to dig into that account and pull out that gold for you. So it will be different levels. You can have a monthly level, you can have a bi-weekly level, or you can have a weekly level, to where we're mailing and emailing weekly, we're mailing and emailing bi-weekly, or we're mailing and emailing monthly for you. So that is what we're going to be offering. I'm really excited to jump in. I really wasn't prepared to talk about it today, so I think that's why I'm a little scattered, so I apologize on that. But if you are interested in learning more about me and my team customizing, printing, mailing, and emailing for you, please drop a comment in the box, and I will make sure. Elise is my project manager. She's on here also. She's been kind of doing some commenting, so she's great. But I will comment back and get your contact information, and we will be reaching out to you to set up a time to discuss it. It is definitely something that is going to be customized per person, and it is not a one size fits all. So I do want to say that. That's why it's a little bit hard for me to nail that down for everybody. So just kind of know that. So great. I see a couple of people interested. That's awesome. Oh my gosh, that's so awesome, because I really want to make a difference in your guys' business. Like, that makes me so happy that you guys are wanting to do that. So that is it for this training. I'm so happy you guys stayed and chatted and you lasted through the whole thing. So that's awesome. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me. I am Elevated Agent. My name is Kelly. Again, you can find me on all social media, and we are at shopelevatedagent.com if you're interested in any of our templates. So I will bid you adieu, and until next time, see ya.